Okay, thank you, everybody. Hello, my name is David Holliday. I'm the NSE Vice President. I'm also the NSE Coordinator at the University of Minnesota Twin Cities. And today is the NSE Recruitment Kickoff. I'll be sharing some uh, updated and new materials, actually. We have some really exciting things that we've just launched this week, including a merch shop. And so I'm going to show you a lot of the resources that HQ makes available to NSE coordinators to promote NSE on their campuses. And I will remind campuses and coordinators that recruitment is really a requirement of membership. We do require campuses to actively promote NSE and inform students across the entire campus about this opportunity. And I think it's warranted. We're a program that really is under the radar. Most students have never thought of the idea, the concept of studying away within the US. They've heard about study abroad. They've said, yes, I'm going to do that, or maybe no, I'm not going to do that, or maybe, on the fence about that. But you got to tell them about study away in the US or Canada. So active recruitment is really an expectation, and I think is required for this type of program as well. So hopefully we're going to leave you with a lot of tools and resources and ideas to take and run with it on your own campuses. We are going to have a little bit of a Q&A session, but also a brainstorming session towards the end of the presentation as well. So watch for that. But do keep that chat going. If you have questions or comments, please use the chat. So first of all, I'm going to unveil some of the resources available for you. So in the last week or so, your campus should have received a box of print materials from NSE. We do provide print materials every year. Few months ago, you were asked kind of quantities and things like that you wanted, and those would have been delivered hopefully in the last week or two. I just got mine actually on Monday this week. So if it hasn't arrived yet, maybe wait another couple of days. But we did kind of a revamp, a redesign of some of the materials at least. So you have this little bookmark here, which I love the bookmarks. I'm going to take those with me to classroom presentations and tabling that I do. That's a quick and easy and really cheap thing that you can give to students to let them know a little bit about NSE. Links to our website. This is a QR code as well that brings them to the NSE website. You have a couple of poster options as well, and you notice there's this little white box. So when you receive those, just go and create your label maker, putting your name, contact information, slap those on those posters, and get those out across campus. And then lastly, the student guide, and it's a one-page guide front and back this year. It's a really nice weight, the paper I really enjoy. And this is something again to share with students. But I would say reserve these materials for students that are really interested in NSE. These are not things that you should hand out widely to classroom presentations and things like that. Reserve these for students that maybe linger a little bit and ask a little bit more questions, or students who meet with me. This is a great takeaway because you get fewer quantities of this material as well, but great material to give to students. Next, and I'm going to undo my screen share here and actually share on the coordinator portal, which you all have access to. You will now, when you click on resources, you will see that it has been populated. It's actually been pretty empty for the last several months. This week, we've been working hard to get information up to that on that resources page. So let me stop my share and go. And you certainly can follow along on your own computers to look at this, but I'm going to share my screen again. I'm now logged in as myself in my coordinator portal. And like I said, you're going to find a lot of information here and resources available. And specifically, I'm going to draw your attention to that middle section, the marketing and promotion section. So first of all, let's click on marketing resources. This has a lot of great things. The NSE logos can be found here. So as you're updating logos on your website or print materials, you can pull these logos. We have a variety of colors to choose from. I think this is Iowa State's color. Is that right? Is that created selfishly, perhaps, Deborah? And then some of you remember these featured area theme flyers. So we actually updated these flyers this year and have put them here on the website for you to use. And so we have happiness and waves, big city, HBCUs, islands, mountains, Puerto Rico, create knowledge, research focus. the old postcard list of campuses and a map here as well. These are all downloadable PDFs. Print and post these across campus, share these with students. And one thing that I like to do is again, this is a PDF. You can add your contact info to that little white box. Just use, Acrobat or Adobe to add your information, and then you can print and distribute those across campus. We also have some social media posts that you can pull. The first two actually here, and I know it's probably pretty small on your screen, but the first two here are promoting spring 2027. There are still 140 campuses accepting students for spring 2027. So we have two social media images here that you can download and share with your social media team to get promoting. The rest of these are promoting the next academic year, 2027, 2028. And so pull these down, get these posted to your own social media channels, get them out to your campus social media channels to really get the word out about NSE. And I just noticed two of these are about Puerto Rico. I personally love highlighting Puerto Rico. It's such a great destination for our students. And we also we have an HBCU exchange social media post as well. So again, use those. You have rights to all of these materials available here on this page. Let me go back to the coordinator page. We also have an email template section. And this is actually I think it's a PDF download, so I can't show you. But I actually created about 12 different email templates, and some of them are highlighting particular opportunities within NSE. Some of them are general. Use these. You certainly can write your own emails, but why recreate the wheel when we have some great email templates available here? So download those, copy and paste the text into your own emails, and get those out to students. Student photos, we have a photo library here. And actually, I'm going to add some photos to this from this past year. We do a photo contest every year, and I got to get those photos added to that library. But those are great visuals submitted by students to us. Again, they give us the right to use them both within it for NSE, but also for NSE coordinators. And so use those in your social media posts, in your emails, get those out as well. Now, I'm really excited about the NSE merch store. NSE, many years ago, we would have t-shirt options and things, but mostly just for coordinators to purchase. We actually are working with Bonfire. It's a print on demand resource where we upload designs, and they will print and mail directly to whoever orders them. So we have a lot of great designs here, and actually more designs are coming. Our graphic designer is actually working on some really cool designs as well. I will point out this one, the NSE Road Trip shirt. We're especially excited about this design and t-shirt, and there's a few different color options as well. And these t-shirts, all of them are priced at $21. NSE HQ is collecting about $1 per t-shirt that will go to the NSE Student Scholarship Fund. So this is not a big moneymaker for NSE. It's more about getting the brand and the awareness out to coordinators, to prospective students, and to current students and alumni as well. But this will be feeding into our NSE Student Scholarship Fund. And then lastly here, we do have a preferred vendor. Some of you may have worked with Glenda in the past. But she has all of the NSE designs that she can put on stickers, pens, other NSE swag, tablecloths, stand-up banners, all those sorts of things Glenda can help you out with. So we also link to Glenda's website where you can reach out to her to request more information there. So some really, I think, exciting new materials and resources available to NSE coordinators there. Okay, now back to the presentation. From current slide. There we go. Does that look okay now? That looks better? Okay. Okay. Also, a reminder that NSEHQ conducts info sessions. Pretty much weekly or every other week at least throughout the fall semester, we have scheduled virtual info sessions for prospective NSE students. These are located on the NSE website. If you go to Explore Campuses and come down to info sessions, all of the dates and times and registration links are listed there. So we do hope that campuses are hosting their own info sessions for students. I think it is really important for you to do that and for students to hear directly from you. But in order to supplement your own, or if you're not offering your own NSE info sessions, please advertise ours. Send them to us. I host most of them. It's about a 30-minute presentation presentation on the basics of NSE, some time for Q&A as well. And it's one of my favorite parts of my job, actually, is helping students understand the details of the program and explore all of their campus options. So reminder to direct students to our info sessions. And specifically, we have a couple of several info sessions that are going to be held in conjunction with International Education Week. And this is something Hope Ortiz, who is here today, I think. Hope is going to help us brainstorm kind of some ways to promote NSE specifically within International Education Week. A lot of you are housed within study abroad offices, and of course, that's a big week for promotion and things like that. So please make sure that our sessions are included in your calendar of events for that week. So we have two kind of destination-specific sessions, one on Puerto Rico, which of course is not international. It is technically part of the US, but a very unique and complete cultural and language immersion. And then we're also going to be promoting Canada. I've also added two general info sessions as well, because who knew this, but the US and Canada are part of the globe. And so when people are talking about global education and things like that, even promoting and studying within the US can be promoted during that week. So please put these on your events calendars for that week in November. And stay tuned. I know Hope and I are going to be working on some special marketing materials for that. Some of you probably remember last year, throughout the fall semester into the winter, we did a series of webinars or we called them fairs, virtual fair, where we actually invited campuses to present, and we recorded these sessions, and you'll see all of these sessions on this page. But those were recorded, and they do live here on our virtual fairs page. So I don't think we have plans at this point to do another virtual fair for this fall. Stay tuned, though, that may change. But these are all recordings, and most of them are pretty evergreen. Basic information about the campuses. And so share these resources with students or direct students to this page as well, especially if they're interested in exploring the variety of NSE options available to them. I really love doing those videos, and so we hope that we'll get a lot of eyes on them. Reminder that NSE is also on social media, and I'm going to share all of these links with you after the presentation. I'll send out an email. These are all of the links here. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and I just realized we should be promoting our LinkedIn channel as well, our LinkedIn page. It's a little bit less student-oriented or student marketing, of course, although they can follow us and join us. But coordinators, please follow us on LinkedIn. Did I just screw up my screen share? Does that look okay? Okay, sorry. I don't know what happened. I didn't even touch my computer there. Okay, now into some kind of process and nitty-gritty details of I think what are some really effective marketing and recruitment tools. So a big one that actually NSEHQ really started ramping up is about 3 or 4 years ago was encouraging campuses, actually requiring campuses, asking campuses to do an inquiry request process. So that means querying students on your campus, specifically those that are eligible for NSE, minimum GPA of 2.5, between 12 and 60 credit hours, full-time enrollment. This is oftentimes public information that campuses can request of their own registrar or student information office. So send in every fall, and then every winter I send a request to my registrar asking for a list of eligible students based on these eligibility requirements. I ask for the first name, last name, campus email address, and actually I also ask for their college of enrollment and their major. Now that comes to me, and I have an email template that I send to students. My office actually uses Constant Contact to directly email students. You all may have your own campus-based email servers and processes and things like that you can go through. But a couple of important things that I do is I direct students to NSE, the NSE website, where they can request info or they can initiate an application. Because what that does is, first of all, NSEHQ captures that inquiry and we can promote NSE to them, but you also receive those inquiries as well via your portal and your dashboard specifically. And so I send an email right away in the middle of September for the fall semester, and then another one in January. And it's about informing students across my campus about this opportunity. Now, some of you I have kind of strict parameters on how often I can email students on my campus and things like that. But I have heard of some of you that actually do this multiple times, where they send a first email and then follow-up emails every couple of weeks or so. You can, of course, invite students to unsubscribe. Students can indicate if they're no longer interested. And it's a great way to quickly and easily and cheaply inform students on your campus about this opportunity. I know email is not the best way to reach students. Not all of them open emails and read emails, but it is a great way, and it's typically free and quick and easy for you all to do. So something that we really actually require as a condition of membership. So please, if you need help with this process, we're available as well. And again, we have templates and things like that that you can use to promote NSE. So I mentioned this earlier, whenever a student from a campus clicks the NSE website and they either click request info or they click apply now, those inquiries go both to you, the coordinator. Again, you get an email, and those are also stored in your coordinator portal. But they also come to NSE HQ. And we have an email campaign. And this was part of the investment that we made this year in a new website, new CRM, and new CMS to be able to better communicate directly with students and promote this opportunity to students. So students do get a series of emails from NSE HQ inviting them to learn more, to attend an info session. We also always direct students directly to you. They are directed to their home campus coordinator because you are their key contact. So we really aim to supplement and support your recruitment efforts. So please follow up with those inquiries that do come to you through the NSE website. Okay. We're going to do a little bit of brainstorming here. I'm going to present a couple of things, and then we're going to do a little bit of brainstorming and getting new ideas out there from the group here. I know we have a lot of veterans that do a lot of recruitment already, so I do want to say that I don't know everything. You all may have new and better ideas than even myself. So some real basic marketing theory. So an effective marketing campaign really will reach students, college students specifically, 7 to 13 times. So this is I think historically, even 10 years ago when I was researching marketing a little bit, the estimate was 7 times. A student has to see a message or see a brand or something 7 times before it's going to really register. That's actually been revised up to 13. So 7 to 13 marketing touches is really what a student, college-age student, needs to see the brand, the name, the concept before it's going to register even to them as something that they should investigate. So, and of course, this is the marketing funnel where at the very top, you want to get as many people at the top of the funnel. Not everybody's going to pan out. Not everybody's going to apply, but you'll end up with, the ideal number of actual NSE participants towards the end. So some ways to touch those students in quotations. Email signature. Some of these are the quickest and easy things that you can do. Make sure NSE is in your email. As if a student or a colleague, sees National Student Exchange or maybe our logo or something like that under their email signature. That's going to get them thinking. That can be touch number 1. Posters and postcards. Again, get those out on campus. That's about branding and awareness across campus. Social media. Some of you, again, can have your own social media accounts or can send messaging to your campus-based social media accounts. Campus newspaper. Every about 3 or 4 years, I actually submit a pitch, an idea to our campus newspaper to get an article written about NSE, and it works. About every 4 or 5 years, I've had an NSE article in the newspaper. Student communication. So all of our campuses have weekly newsletters for students and listservs and things like that. So make sure that NSE is included in those messaging that comes from, your university marketing office or student activities offices, things like that. Some of these that are in yellow, I think are the really the key things, the essential things that oftentimes are the easiest things to do as well. I missed word of mouth up here. Word of mouth is huge. You got to get students talking about NSE with each other. If you have students who come to your info session, remind them, go back out, tell your classmates, your roommates, about this opportunity. You can go on NSE together if you want, or get the word out there. Word of mouth is also really big about amongst my colleagues. I talk about NSE a lot with the staff in my office, staff in my building, and then I've, colleagues across campus. I'm always talking about NSE. First of all, it's part of my job, but I also really love it. And it's an opportunity that whenever somebody hears about NSE, that maybe hadn't heard about it, they're like, huh, my student could study in California and do it affordably, or could go to Alaska, or, even colleagues and parents and things like that. They love hearing about this. So talk about NSE when you're given the opportunity to. Um, display case. I have a display case in my office. Some of you may have bulletin boards. It's just about exposure there. Um, tabling. If you have a study abroad or study away fair, make sure there's NSE representation there. An NSE specific table, I think, is really crucial. And again, Glenda, you can order tabling materials directly from Glenda. But other activities fairs, and I'll be part of Welcome Week. I've tabled at orientation before, and so that's a great touch point for students as well. Sandwich board, I actually printed a sandwich board this past year, and leading up to deadlines, I would have that sandwich board out in front of my building. Make sure NSE events, info sessions, and things are on your campus events calendar. And then campus-wide email. So I already talked about that email process. That has been the number one most effective way and easiest way for me to advertise NSE. I'm on a giant campus. I can't, visit every class and and things like that. So utilizing those campus-wide emails, again, is really effective. So those are just some of the big, broad ways to market NSE at the top of the funnel. Try to reach as many students on your campus as possible. So then we get down to this middle section where it's maybe going to take a little bit more time and effort, a little bit more work, hosting your own info sessions, or directing them to NSE HQs, doing class presentations. I try to do several class presentations every year as well. I've just sent out a request to get into some of our first year seminars. Advisor or departmental referrals. So, building relationships across campus, specifically with academic advisors and with specific departments, is really critical. Make sure that they know about NSE, realize the benefits and types of places their students could go to on exchange. And oftentimes those referrals are going to come directly from those departments. And then small group advising. I actually have a couple of student workers who work for me, and they do weekly small group advising. They'll invite students to come in together to learn about NSE, talk about destinations and things like that. And then towards the bottom of the funnel, it's about getting those students that are really serious about the program. So scheduling those one-on-one appointments, emailing back and forth with students. Most of my appointments are on Zoom these days, although I do try to meet with people in person if possible. So, and then, again, the end result hopefully is to get those really interested, serious students. And towards the end of the presentation, I actually have target numbers for each of you to try to hit at that bottom of the number or the bottom of the funnel. Okay, I know there's a lot of text on this page here. I'm not going to talk about everything here, but I wanted to put it all on one page. And again, I will email out this presentation to all of you so you can have the copy as well. But this is a sample marketing plan. These are some things that I think are effective. I also want to acknowledge that not all of you have all of the time to do very many of these things. And so what I encourage you to do is identify maybe the 2 or 3 or 4 things on this list, or maybe you have your own ideas, and make those happen. Some of us have the benefit of NSE being pretty much our full-time job. And so I have the time to flesh out this grand marketing plan, whereas, again, I realize not all of you do. So pick the few things that will really work for you. Some static marketing ideas, revise your website. I do encourage you to look at your campus-based websites, the references to NSE there. Make sure the hyperlinks are correct because we changed the NSE website. All of the hyperlinks from the old site are no longer valid. So I have snooped around on a few sites and I found some invalid links. So double check that. Some of you may do your own print materials in your office as well. Make sure those are updated annually. Posters, bookmarks, etc. in your office, make sure those are up. Don't just leave them on your bookcase or in the box. Get those out. In your office space specifically is the great place for it. And then, as I mentioned, that email signature, quick and easy thing. Again, just one more little reminder about NSE. Um, I have here big and bold. Don't let NSE be the best kept secret on your campus. I will admit, for the first several years of NSE, I don't think I really realized the extent of to what extent marketing needed to happen, active marketing needed to happen on campus. I had a website, I had brochures, maybe I do a little bit of classroom presentations and things, but I realized that really wasn't enough. I needed to broaden the knowledge base of NSE across campus. So I've expanded my NSE network across the university as much as possible to academic advisors, departmental chairs and faculty, to our honors program, to our first gen programs, trio, multicultural programs, first and second year programs, the ISS, International Student Scholars Services. Um, these are all offices that know about NSE. I can pretty much guarantee they all have NSE flyers and brochures. They include NSE in their newsletters and things like that. So you don't have to be the only one on your campus talking about NSE, but you got to build that network and build that knowledge base across campus. Some ideas here for direct marketing. I don't need to go into great detail about these. That direct email campaign as well. I will guarantee you that that will be one of the quickest and easiest things that you can do on campus. It shouldn't be the only thing you do, because I think not all students do see email, but I do think it's the quickest and best thing to do. The other thing that I've really have been doing more so in the last probably 5 or 10 years is to do some targeted marketing. NSE is massive. We have 160 campuses to choose from. And, the idea of studying away in the US and Canada is great, and some people may resonate with that. But the opportunity to exchange to Puerto Rico or Quebec, Canada, or the fact that NSE has many multicultural serving institutions, MSIs, including HSIs, HBCUs, ANAPESIs. These are the really niche opportunities and programs available through NSE that can get hidden in just general marketing. And so I do some tailored marketing, target marketing, advertising these specific opportunities to students. Another one, and I know I did a presentation a couple of months ago about summer exchange. If you have students who cannot do a full semester or year-long exchange, we do have summer opportunities for them. So big, broad, well, I'd say fairly detailed marketing plan. Again, pick a couple of things that you could do from this page to implement this upcoming fall semester. And then I will remind you all that following up with student inquiries and student applications is really essential as well. So we try to connect students with you directly. When they click that request info button on the NSE website, you get an email. It's also stored in your coordinator portal. The dashboard has those inquiries. Same with applications. So if a student from your campus initiates an application, you get an email, and you can actually monitor their progress in your application portal as well. So follow up with those students. Even if your deadline's not, for 3 months or something, send that student a quick email and say, hey, thanks for starting an application. We have a little bit of time. There's no urgency here, but offer to meet with them, invite them to an info session, etc., to nurture their interest, and hopefully they'll result in an application. I did actually flesh this out a little bit for my own campus, and I'm not going to talk about all of these things, but this is my plan for the fall semester, actually all the way through February, and the things that I plan to do. I do have a student, actually this year I'll just have one student worker due to budget cuts, unfortunately, but I have a student worker that's going to be helping with a lot of these things. So a few things that I will point out. I utilize listservs. You all, I'm sure, have listservs on your campus. We have one for academic advising. We also have a diversity focused listserv. So I use those. And they're not student-based. Those are staff and faculty-based. But again, building that knowledge base across campus. I do attend a couple of fairs. We have a campus exploration fair as part of our welcome week. I'll be at the Learning Abroad Fair. So attending those if whenever possible. I do that email campaign once in September and then another one in January, again, to get the word out broadly to students across my campus, and then lots of other little touch points here in between. So, and then again, I really am diligent about following up with those inquiries and those applications. Within a day or two of getting that notification, I'll log into my portal, check out that app or that inquiry, and respond to that student. Okay, I'm going to stop my screen share and we're going to do a little bit of brainstorming here. And I know we have some veterans here, and a couple of the veterans I've actually had reached out to in recent weeks just to ask for their help and their ideas and things like that. So I'd love to invite those veterans to share maybe things that you're thinking about or things that you may share with the consortium via the listserv. But uh, let me share my screen to get back to this. But I'd love to just gather some ideas. What are things that you all want to do or plan to do on your campus? And feel free to unmute and speak up. Um, Deborah and Leah are monitoring the chat, but I would say, yeah, if you're not shy, please unmute and speak up.
So David, one of the most successful things that we did was following your pattern of sending emails, targeted emails. After I did that, we were inundated with requests and inquiries. And so definitely targeted emails was super helpful.
And what were your targets? Were those departmental, based on majors, or what were the targets?
I just focused on sophomores and juniors.
Okay,
Yep.
gotcha. And I would encourage you all to think about including first year students. We want students to plan ahead, of course, whether they're going to do NSE or study abroad or an internship. So the earlier they start planning and talking with their advisors is good. So don't forget about first years. Cool. What else has worked for folks in the past or are things that you want to do this year?
David, we at MSU, we at Mississippi State, we've changed our advising model. And so we have a centralized advising model now and tons of new advisors. And so I'm doing a training session with them so that they can discuss this, kind of break the ice with their students. We are also implementing a new computer system so they can see me on their portal and make an appointment directly with me from their system if they're interested in NSE. And then also, of course, we're putting flyers everywhere we go. And so we're hoping this will be help this program a little bit better here at State.
Nice. Thank you. Regarding that student information system, we have one on my campus as well, and I think probably most of us do. We actually have a referral. There's a referral tag in there where an advisor, if they meet with a student, can say, "Hey, we talked about NSE." I then get that notification, and I can follow up directly with that student. So, using whatever capabilities you have to make those connections is great. Hope, yeah,
That's great. I'll make a note.
Yeah, Hope, I see your hand is raised.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of things that are different than what you've already talked about, obviously. I know you mentioned International Education Week, I guess just study abroad fairs in general. And so since I'm a study abroad coordinator, I host a study abroad fair every year. And so making sure that I have my NSE table at that fair, just as representation at the fair. And then I do a lot of digital sign marketing. So we have TVs around campuses that circulate virtual digital signage, which is free. And so I use that a lot. And what I try to do in addition to just kind of general NSE marketing there is I do what I call NSE highlights. And we do this on our social media marketing as well, where we're highlighting specific locations or special programs within the NSE program. So like the Alaska semester program and the semester in the parks programs and Allen Wick and all those kinds of things. So highlighting those as well, specifically, and then also depending on who's still accepting students, sometimes we'll highlight specific campuses as well.
Awesome. Yeah. Sorry, my computer was about to die and I had to pivot and figure out where my charger was and stuff. So I think I'm okay, but Yeah, no, I love that hope. And I do some of that as well, specifically with those special programs. And I want to remind folks where to find those because I love promoting them to my own students. Um, let me share my screen again. Yeah, I'll get to that here. So on the NSE website, we have the special programs page, which these are oftentimes field-based programs, internship or research-focused programs, things that are different than just the traditional academic exchange. So lots of cool things listed here. Um, the Alaska programs, I've had students participate in these in recent years. That Alaska Mester put on by Fairbanks. Um, and so lots of great stuff. I will say, hope you mentioned the Alnick campus. Unfortunately, that was the St. Cloud State. Unfortunately, they ceased. St. Cloud State no longer has a relationship with Alnick Castle, so it's off the list, and it's no longer on this page either. That was a really cool thing to share. But I also agree with kind of the destination specific marketing. I do a bit of that as well based on the campuses that are still available for fall or for spring 2027. There is a public list, of course, that's right here under chance of acceptance, highlighting particular campuses that may still be accepting students, pointing out their rolling the campus deadlines over here as well. And then, there is some low hanging fruit. I think honestly, some of our campuses, have a natural appeal. So I also promote um, the campuses that tend to draw a lot of students, the Hawaii campuses, the Alaska campuses, the California campuses. So it's okay also to do a little bit of, highlighting those particular destinations that may get students a little bit more excited. Or Minnesota. Of course, you all should be promoting Minnesota as a super special destination. Okay, what other ideas do folks have? Let me stop this share and go back to my. Leah, what was in the chat that you thought was cool? Oh, yeah, totally. So this is US's 250th anniversary. And so highlighting that, I love, Emily, you'd shared that before, having a scholarship fund specifically um, highlighting that too. Highlighting during NSE during Welcome Week. Better program accreditation alignment that NSE brings to the table compared with study abroad, like for social work, et cetera. Yeah, excellent idea. I do quite a bit of that, and actually, that's one of the kind of mini projects that a couple of NSE coordinators have been working on, and I think we're going to try to figure out a way to broadcast it a little bit widely. But Judy Parrott at Oklahoma State has always done a really good job with that, partnering with an academic department on her campus, identifying specific NSE schools that would be the best fit for their student based on accreditation or reputation or course uniqueness or grad school potential or things like that. And Margot at Iowa State is doing a similar project on her campus. So those are those relationships with departments that I think are really critical. When a student hears from their advisor or a professor saying, "Hey, this is a really cool opportunity you should pursue," the more likely they're gonna do it.
Can I jump in here real quick?
Yeah.
I just wanted to clarify because some other people had asked me about this previously. The 250, the America 250 thing, we don't have any scholarship funds for NSE.
Okay.
What we did was just take $1 off per year for America's birthday from the admin costs or university charges to participate. So it's like a fake scholarship. Just so
Gotcha.
you know,
Okay.
because people are like, how do you have money to do that? I'm like, I don't. Normally we charge $300 flat for each exchange
Gotcha.
semester, and they're only getting charged $50 to participate.
Gotcha.
So that's what I had to work with. So that's how that happened. I don't have scholarships for it, unfortunately.
Yeah. 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 Thank you. And I'm sorry, you didn't even mention scholarship here. I remembered we'd emailed about that previously, but thanks for clarifying.
Mhm.
Um, but I do want to talk about that. I've been fortunate to, so scholarship. So NSE is by nature an affordable program. Always mention affordability and accessibility when you talk about NSE in emails and conversation, because it is a really key message and point for NSE. But in reality, there are barriers to student participation. Just a reminder that NSE HQ, we do have a scholarship fund, and we'll be collecting for the scholarship fund during the conference in October. And the scholarship fund allows coordinators, individuals, you all, to nominate a student, one, maybe two from your campus that is high financial need, high Pell eligible specifically, in order to have an application fee waiver. So watch for that communication that comes out in the winter in the lead up to priority placements, and nominate students that could benefit from it. That's what NSE HQ does. We encourage you also to think about ways to do that on your own campus. So on my own campus, I've built relationships again with key departments that really want their students to do NSE, and the departments themselves have come up with funding to pay the student's application fee. So our College of Education and Human Development, which is kind of a broad span of majors, education being one, but there's some others in there too. They will pay the application fee for students specifically that are going to those MSIs, the HBCUs, the HSIs, Hispanic serving institutions, because they have a fairly diverse student population in that college, and they want their students to go to from a PWI, predominantly white institution, to um, a campus where they're that's more diverse than ours. And so college work with colleges and departments to come up with funds. They actually have a donor relationship as well that helps offset some of their expenses. So those are all possible things to do, and it will help with recruitment. Anything else? Any other last minute ideas? Um, and I think, Tiara's comment here, some of those majors or those departments that maybe students have a hard time studying abroad due to rigid curricula, or NSE is such a great fit for that. So sometimes building those bridges with a department and making sure the departmental chair and the advisor know that their students can do NSE and take the same courses or the equivalent courses and stay on track to graduate. That's another real key benefit of NSE. Okay, well, thank you for a little bit of brainstorming time here. I appreciate that. Um, the I mentioned here that we do actually have target goals. I got to swap that screen, right? Swap my screen share. No, now it is. And we did this, I think 3 or 4 years ago. So NSE participation numbers have been decreasing. And especially coming out of COVID, we actually are seeing a little bit of an uptick this year, which we love, and we want to continue on that momentum. But one thing that we looked at is 15 years ago, when NSE numbers were historically pretty strong, we looked at how many students were participating in NSE per campus and what that campus's enrollment actually was. And we noticed that some of our largest campuses, 33,000 plus, were sending on average 20 students away on exchange. And that makes sense. The bigger your application pool is, the more students will end up participating. So we encourage some of our biggest campuses to strive for that high number. It's possible. There's a historical record of this happening, and so strive to reach as many students across your campus and end up with 20 plus applicants. It's a goal. It's not a mandate, of course, but it's possible. Likewise, some of our smallest campuses, the average outbound number of students was about 5. Now, some of you send 10, 15, 20, some of our smallest campuses. Shout out to Sarah from Northern New Mexico College, who in the first year of membership, I think has at least 5 students out. And But we encourage all of our campuses to send out a minimum of 5 students. We think that's a pretty reasonable goal for each campus. And in reality, this past year, probably the majority of our campuses did not send out 5 students. So minimum of 5 outbound students would be a goal, and then anywhere on up to 20. Of course, the sky's the limit in terms of outbound students. It is about marketing and getting the word out to students. The interest is there, I promise. You got to get the word out. So, a couple of more concrete reminders. I mentioned this earlier. We are still doing direct placements for spring 2027. So, publicly on the NSE website, you will see a spring 2027 tab where you can see campus availability and deadlines. As of yesterday, when I looked at these numbers, there are 92 campuses still accepting students on away pay for spring. 97 campuses are still open on home pay for spring. Now, every campus has their own deadlines. Some campuses have a September 1st deadline, so check that out. I know 2 of our more popular incoming campuses, Florida International University and University of Hawaii Manoa, have deadlines in mid to late September, so don't miss those. And then a lot of us, we remain open all the way through all the way through October, even into November. The last time that a campus could make a placement for spring 27 is November 30th or November 31st. That's when the system rolls over and becomes more difficult to make placements. So keep recruiting for spring 2027. So again, back on that marketing plan that I showed, I'm going to be querying eligible students from my registrar on September 15th, and I'm going to send them an email. And specifically sophomores and juniors, it's going to say, study away through NSE for spring 27. And I do expect hopefully a couple of dozen applicants for that particular term. Now is also the time to start planning for, these were the tasks to do now for spring 27 direct placements. Follow up with those inquiries. So in your coordinator portal, make sure you are following up those inquiries. Those preliminary apps as well, follow up with them. Even if they applied a while ago and maybe the term that they chose has passed or has expired, they may still be interested. And just a reminder that you, the coordinator, can actually revise the term. So if they say, oh, missed the deadline for fall 26, can you change it to spring 27? Yes, the coordinator can do that. Email eligible sophomores and juniors. That's my plan. I'm also emailing my academic advisors, specifically for students that, maybe their internship fell through, maybe their study abroad program was canceled. Maybe they're going to be a graduating senior and have just kind of a free open semester. I have some of those actually. They're well ahead of their requirements. I just saw Emily's chat here. Mailing, if you can do a physical mailing, specifically to parents and families, I think that's really effective too. I love that idea. So now is also the time to start planning for next year's priority placement, 2027, 2028. So the application approval deadline is Monday, March 1st. So that's the deadline by which students have to have completed their application and the coordinator has to approve their application, and then they have to pay the fee, all by March 1st at 11:59 p.m. So tasks to do now. So set your campus deadline and start, advertising that. My deadline is February 22nd. That's 1 week before the official deadline to submit applications. I'm developing a marketing plan, so now is the time to do that. And then start promoting NSE from first through third years especially. I encourage you, go forth and recruit. Hopefully some of these new resources and materials will be helpful to you. If you need additional materials or logos or things like that, talk to us. There's some things that are possible. Not everything is possible. We do have limited time and capacity and money, but reach out to us, especially if you have helpful recruitment ideas. I also recommend use the listserv. If you're doing something really cool and unique on your campus, send an email to the listserv saying, "Hey, this is something I'm doing. and maybe other campuses will take it and run with it as well. And so hopefully this will get your juices going a little bit. Do stay tuned. I'm actually going to schedule a follow-up webinar. It'll be more of a working session, probably in late September, to help campuses brainstorm and develop a marketing plan specifically for themselves. Again, I really appreciate your time today. I'm going to stop my screen share and stop the recording. And are there any questions or comments or follow-up to the presentation today? Any other new, fun, interesting ideas?